ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to This Is a Work, a wrestling podcast focused on the WWE's pay-per-view events. Now, before we get started, I want to tell you listeners two things. One, for the first time ever, we are recording this podcast immediately after watching the event, Crown Jewel. And the second thing is that we are recording this in Doggz' kitchen instead of my office. So you're going to hear some things you would normally not hear in a controlled environment, like the refrigerator being opened or people cheering for a football game. So just keep that in mind. Now, my name is David Hensley. I am the owner and creative director of Long Walk Productions, and I have 3 jobs on this podcast. I press the record button, I make dad jokes, and I introduce your host, David Doggz Hayes.
Welcome to Rock Hill's only premier WWE pay-per-view review podcast. This is a work. I am your host, David Doggz Hayes. Alongside me, as always, my co-host, my buddy, my pal,
permanent special guest.
Your permanent special guest, Chris. I don't even have a nickname for you this time. Barnes, what's going on, brother?
Oh, welcome to WWE and Doggz' house.
Wow.
Yeah, the energy is through the roof after that last match.
Oh my God. I don't even know where to begin. This has been a roller coaster of a ride, and that's kind of why we decided to do this thing live. Before we get started, let me introduce our special guest this evening. One of my very close personal friends, Gina Belmont. Gina, how are you?
I'm good, Doggz. How are you?
I am. I don't know.
I don't either.
I
don't know anymore.
It's been a hell of an evening.
Yes,
Now, I should also, and I meant to bring this up during the intro, we've also all been drinking, so that's going to add an extra element to this podcast tonight, except for Chris, who doesn't drink. But me and Gina and Doggz.
I'm just better.
Well,
Better.
All right, Doggz, let's talk Crown Jewel.
Let's do it. Before we get started, I've got to ask Gina the standard questions. Gina, I want you to tell me about that. You have watched wrestling in the past. Yeah.
Yes.
Tell me about your most memorable wrestling experience.
Oh, it was the first time I ever watched WWE. I know y'all are gonna roll your eyes real quick. I am new to wrestling. I started watching in, hold your breath, 2014.
Good Lord.
I know, I knew y'all were going to say something. So I am very new, but when I was in college, there was this amazing friend of mine who's still my best friend today. Her name is Shelby Ray. Shout out, girl. And she convinced me to come over to her apartment and watch wrestling. And I, of course, was just beside myself. Why on earth am I watching this? This looks so stupid. And then Daniel Bryan walked out and everything changed. I love Daniel Bryan. I love him. I love everything that he does pretty much. I also caught him right after his heel change.
Turn.
Whatever.
Heel turn, yeah.
Like just, because I remember watching back recently and going, what in the world was he thinking? That's so dumb. But yes, it was in January of 2014. And that was the first time I started watching. And then that was when the Shield had been really, really big. And then I remember that really bad day where, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. It's fine, you know.
So were you upset tonight that we did not see two of your favorites, Dean Ambrose and Daniel Bryan?
I'm still processing Dean Ambrose's decision. I have a lot of feelings about that. I mean, Daniel Bryan made he made a choice where he didn't want to, I guess, support. There are some other things. I know we've talked about that earlier.
Yeah, we can only speculate
yes.
as to what his reasoning was.
Yes. I'm only more so disappointed that it was Samoa Joe.
Yeah.
I'm tired of that age, but we'll get to that later.
We will get into that.
We will.
One more question for you.
Yes.
And since you started in 2014, I have no idea where this question is going to go. got to give me your Mount Rushmore
Yes.
of professional wrestlers. Your top 4. Who
Okay.
would they be? What say you, Gina Belmont?
Okay. So, Daniel Bryan's number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2 is Andre the Giant.
Wow. Okay.
I was
Fell
biased.
in love with him during Princess Bride, did you?
You know my
There you
love
go.
of that movie. But I have gone back and recently watched a lot of his stuff. The third, I know it's random, but I remember because in 2014 that was still the era of the divas.
Yeah.
So it was a mix of starting to see the turn and starting to see fighting. But Paige.
Right on.
I loved Paige.
Yeah.
I thought Paige was awesome. I also was like, oh my gosh, she's pale like me. That's awesome. That's so cool. And then I think my 4th might be Sheamus.
Sheamus.
I have always loved Sheamus.
Another pale one.
I know. Well, yes, I have a theme, a constant theme.
Yeah.
But
Daniel Bryan, Sheamus, Paige.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's...
I seem to see a pattern here. But yes, I like Sheamus's moves. I like his strong choices. I think it's fun. Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent.
Well, tonight has been a journey.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, my God. And I'll be honest, since we just finished watching it...
So many emotions. So many.
I have my ratings for the matches.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to rate this overall pay-per-view. I'm going to have to figure it out. I'm going to have to call it in the ring. So
The shrugging emoticon.
Yes.
yeah.
Just the hands in the air.
And, usually, guys, I have wrestling news for you, but for those of you that are new to the podcast, we just got through recording and watching Evolution not more than 2 days ago.
Yeah, yeah, it's been a busy 48 hours for us because we recorded Thursday night. I put it together and posted Evolution today.
Bless.
And we also, I forget to do this a lot, and I need to start doing it more. We really have to thank David Hensley and Long Walk Productions
Hear, hear.
for their fine work helping us out doing this podcast, and also the fine people at Free Reign Theater who always lend their support and help us out promoting this and all of the likes. So, boy, guys, good God, what a night. Let's get started. We're going to start things off with the kickoff show with one of my favorites, Shinsuke Nakamura versus Rusev. And as fate would have it, this all happened on Rusev Day. Who would have thought?
The timing is incredible.
The one thing that I noticed about this was, and I believe we all talked about it, the sheer size
Yes.
of Rusev compared to Shinsuke Nakamura. Yeah, if I didn't know better, guys, I'd have to say, and maybe we could Google this and check it out, Nakamura looks to be like 180 pounds.
Soaking wet.
Yeah.
Soaking wet.
I mean, we'll have to figure out where he's at on the weigh-in scale. He can't compete in 205 Live. I don't think he's big enough.
No. I wrote in my notes, thighs for days.
I mean, we actually made the comparison while we were watching the match to the turn post, and his thighs are bigger than the turn post.
Now, what did you say, Doggz? What did you estimate his weight to be?
What? I was thinking 189.
His build weight is 229.
No.
I'm calling bullshit
No,
on that.
Including the jacket?
His
Yeah.
build
His leather
height is
jacket?
also 6'2", and I don't think that's right either.
Well, I know he's tall. I can tell that he's a tall guy.
guess
Is he
it's hard to
6'2"?
compare.
I don't know. He maybe not. But if he's 230 pounds, then I'm a Saudi Arabian. So and boy, there was a lot of that going on tonight.
We got it all out before we started recording.
We
thankfully.
did, and I'm trying to stay
Did
away
we?
from
Time will tell.
The one thing, a couple of things that I noticed in this match is not a lot to talk about. a decent match. You know, I'm not going to take anything away from it.
Solid match, yeah.
Shinsuke taking this huge crescent kick from Rusev.
Yes.
Right there, I guess midway to start. Oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Just brutal. Just knocked him
The
flat.
sound it made was, it was a wonderful thwacking noise.
That's so oddly specific.
A lot of good stuff happened. I like I said, I can't say too much bad about it, but there was no meat on this bone.
No.
And that's going to be a reoccurring theme tonight.
I'll tell you, it set the tone for the evening, as I pointed out, that just in terms of, it's really set the tone in terms of, I'm not sure what to expect, because as I said during the match, it was a Japanese man fighting a Bulgarian man in Saudi Arabia for the United States title.
Yeah, in a world and in a year where we have constantly seen New Day jerk the curtain for us on our pay-per-views and absolutely tear it up and get the show started, setting the tone for us. And then we saw this. And again, there was nothing wrong with this match. But there was nothing right about it either. It was just a match. This could have happened on any given Raw or SmackDown.
Yes.
And we would have said, yeah, that was fine. That was good. Moving on.
I feel like the peak was when Nakamura had that headbutt back.
Yeah, that was
straight.
That was our
Right
go
in
home
the-
moment.
You were wondering when he was going to get the nut shot in.
Yeah, because we can't have a Shinsuke match without a nut shot.
Yep.
And we got it. He's got him in the what do we call that move? I can't.
The accolade.
It's the accolade. That's it.
Yeah.
I just call it a camel clutch.
That's what it is.
But no, the go home is Rusev has Nakamura in a camel clutch, and he just headbutts him.
Well, he gets to the rope and he's letting him go, and then Nakamura takes the opportunity to rear his head back into Rusev's crotch.
Yep.
And then gives him the Shinsuke kick or whatever it's called. That's it. That's how we're doing this. Fun match. I'm going to give it 2 Meltzers. Not a lot. It's fine. Next up, we've got...
Our big opener.
we start the real show with Rey Mysterio versus Randy Orton. Now, this is the first round match for the World Cup. Now, guys, I have to stress to you, the winner of the World Cup is to be named the best wrestler in the world. And, guys, I got to tell you, a title well-deserved for all the participants involved, if I may say so. Would you agree, Chris Barnes?
Of course, there's only one that can be called the best in the world. Only one that's ever really billed himself that over the course of time, as far as we know, constantly, nearly constantly.
And that person was crowned that night. What say you, Gina Belmont?
Well spoken.
Yep.
So we're going to start with Ray and Orton.
She's just still too much in awe of what happened.
I know.
So in awe.
Again, guys, good match.
Very good.
Yeah.
They worked well
Yes.
together because they have in the past.
I can never say anything but good things about Rey Mysterio. Randy's getting older, but he still looks great in the ring. He still does Randy Orton. And that's all anybody can ever say about him.
Ray is getting older because he walked out to the ring.
Oh.
Well,
That's not necessarily a negative. It's just something. It's noticeable when you.
It is.
When you're used to how he used to always enter the ring.
Yeah.
Look, I did notice, speaking of noticing things, that Mysterio, he's dropped about 15, 20 pounds of muscle. You know, the last time we saw him at WWE, he had bulked up a lot, muscle-wise. While he's been in AAA is it Lucha Vavoom and Dragon Gate? He's been on the indie scene.
I'm guessing, since it's not WWE, there was a de-emphasis on having to be more muscled.
Yeah. So he dropped a lot of weight. Good match. Really good match. The go home in this, which really is the only thing that I had written down for the notes, because the match was your typical Rey Mysterio Jr. match. Mm-hmm. Also, from the other side of this was a typical Randy Orton match. Yeah. Nothing special about it, except that it was two really great competitors doing what they do. I gave it 3 Meltzers. The go home was interesting. Reverse victory roll from Rey Mysterio, which you don't see anymore. I haven't seen it in a few years, probably since Gina started watching. Ouch. It's been a while since I've seen a reverse victory roll, but yeah, we got one out of Ray.
Great.
Yeah,
It was great.
Kind of a surprising way to win.
it was. I didn't expect it to happen. Rey Mysterio goes over, advances to the quarterfinals.
Eats an RKO.
Yeah, that was the thing. Because we got to push that angle of the injury moving forward. Mm-hmm. He got an RKO, but he got an RKO.
He got Rico'd.
Wait for it. Out of nowhere, after the match, and just kind of left him laying there. Good match. 3 Meltzers.
Also, Mysterio was wearing something different, ring gear wise. He was wearing like.
He had a singlet on,
Yeah,
which,
okay.
number one, we're not used to seeing Ray with a singlet.
No, because he didn't wear it later.
Yeah. And he wore the singlet on the outside of his trunks, which
Oh, I didn't notice that.
was a little off-putting.
Yeah.
It's something I've never really seen him do, because normally he's just shirtless. Mm-hmm. But this time I just couldn't help but notice, because I don't normally see that on him.
Yeah.
It's also, he's got some weirdly placed tats now.
Yeah.
And I did say tats, as in tattoos. So go easy on me, guys.
They go from the shoulder to his pectorals, and he's also got the tattoo of like a cross necklace. Mm-hmm. No, that's what it is.
No, that's exactly what it is.
And then I think Mexico.
Well, he's Mexican.
He's got Mexico across the stomach.
it's
That's been there
it's
for
Mexican.
a
Okay.
while. Oh, Mexican. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's been there for a few years now.
Mm-hmm. So then we move on to our next round match, which is Jeff Hardy versus The Miz. You know, guys.
What's that, Gina?
I think that pause summed up everyone's feelings.
It's just tough.
What do you think? Gina, what say you about this?
I've watched a lot of the footage of the Hardy Boys, and I don't like saying this, but I think it's time to move on. It just doesn't seem their best, his best work. It doesn't seem like.
No, it clearly is
no,
not.
it's just it's just kind of painful watching it.
It's Hardy's moving a lot slower in the ring.
Yeah.
The whisper in the wind is. I've always thought that was a strange move anyway, but now watching him do it, it's so much slower, and whoever his opponent is in the ring just seems like they're standing there waiting for an insane amount of time.
Yeah, it's just him destroying himself, even though that didn't work out well previously, and that,
Yeah, it did seem, even to me, like The Miz spent a lot of time just hanging out.
Yes.
Yeah. And The Miz, I know there's a lot of old schoolers out there that call themselves purists, and maybe they are, maybe they're not, that don't like The Miz. I personally, in the past couple of years, I've got on The Miz bandwagon. I think the kid's paid his dues. He's worked his way up through these ranks. He deserves everything he gets now. I'm proud of him. No, I am. I'm proud of him. I think he's doing great. He's a fantastic heel.
Yes, I agree with that. Yes.
And Hardy, again, another guy that has paid his dues. I'll say that. But I agree with you, Gina. I think I think his best days are behind him.
Yeah.
And I realize that you're there for a paycheck now, and that's fine. But I think it's time to move on to greener pastures. I think if he could get his demons under control, I think he'd be a hell of a road agent. I see no reason that Vince would not take him as a road agent and have him talk to the younger guys. What do you think, Barnes?
No, I agree with that. I think. Oh, sure. I just think most of his ideas would involve ladders and jumping off of them.
Yeah, I think he could maybe speak to the boys in terms of choreography. Maybe not so much calling a match, but
Also, I'm not going to lie. I think because of just the sheer amount of stuff we just watched in quick succession, I can't really remember how this match ended.
I think it was. I had a last slam from the Miz.
Mm-hmm.
I think Hardy went for either. I think it was a kick.
yeah, it was the skull crushing finale.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he beat him with his Miz beat him with his finisher.
Mm-hmm.
And again, there's nothing wrong with this match.
In the moment, it was fun.
Yeah, but
Fun, but I'm going to say fun but forgettable because
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time recalling it.
no, again, there's
Nothing
nothing
stood
wrong. But again, this was a match that we could have watched on Raw or
Yep.
SmackDown and just been,
Okay.
you know,
Let's move on.
yeah. So we're going to be doing a lot of that through this.
Yeah.
I think the thing we're going to have to talk about is our later matches.
To be fair, I think a lot of that is the fact that we get these matches regularly. Mm-hmm. They don't.
Right.
Yeah.
That is a very good point.
So that's why they got this tournament, and that's why they got these matchups.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're absolutely right. 2 Meltzers for this. Bleh.
Can that be a rating now? Buh.
Yeah, absolutely, it can.
I feel like it would get abused going solely by what we talked about in the past with some of these pay-per-views. There would be a lot of buzz.
Oh, there's going to be a lot of buzz tonight if that's what we're going to do.
How do I hashtag that on Instagram?
We're going to get buzzed.
Hashtag buzz.
I want to say you would go hashtag BUAH.
Maybe even
That sounds
throw
more
in
like
some
that
G's
sounds
and
more like a
H's
blah.
in there.
Buh sounds like a BUH or BUGH.
I have thrown us horribly off topic.
No.
I'm so
I think
sorry.
this is the topic we need to be on.
Right.
This is important.
No, BU. I
The
kind of
people
agree
need
with
to
you.
know what the
BUGH.
hashtag
Yeah.
is. It's with a B in front of it.
There we go.
Buh.
Yep.
I feel like that's just going to end up being hashtag bug.
With just lots of G's at the end.
You have to-
Anyway, I'm so sorry.
No,
I'm not.
absolutely
I do not
not.
apologize for greatness.
That was
No.
beautiful.
Speaking of buh, we're going to move
It's not a
on
thing.
to.
Stop trying to make it a thing.
Oh,
No,
this
this
is
is a
definitely
thing.
going to be a thing now.
We have Seth Rollins burning it down with Bobby Buh Lashley. Your comments, Chris Barnes.
I don't know if it was Rollins in particular, but I mean, I feel like there was a little bit of an extra effort from Lashley this time.
You know,
I'm willing.
what would you attribute that to? Would
I'm
you attribute
willing-
that to Saudi Arabia, or would you attribute that to his new hype man? Not a manager, a hype man,
Goodness.
Leo Rush.
Oh yeah, Leo Rush really collected his paycheck on this one.
Didn't he? He
Yeah.
brought that microphone out and he never used it.
Yeah.
And he stood there half-heartedly waving at ringside.
Some actors just don't know what to do with their props.
Yeah.
He really sold the hype man aspect of his career. He totally earned his paycheck.
You know, usually we're blessed with the Leo Rush promo that usually will go something like, he looks like money, he smells like money, Lashley, 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 Lashley.
I don't want to think about what Bobby Lashley smells like.
Oh, goodness.
Apparently he smells like money.
No, he just ruined money for me. Thank you.
No, not for me. Incidentally, we're looking for sponsors on the show. Yeah, no, he showed us a little something more than we're used to.
A hair.
Ironic.
But it was...
Yeah. Now, I don't know if that's Lashley or if that's just the fact that Seth Rollins is that damn good.
I want to feel like it. I
Yeah.
hate to say it, but not to detract from Lashley. And
No, you can detract from him. It's not like
Well, I don't wanna
that's
just-
a news bulletin on this podcast.
I don't want to just pile on, but I think Rollins is one of those talents who can pull better things from people who you don't think do great.
Right. And, he got to show off his... I hate to say this in light of what's happened in the past couple weeks, his Roman Reigns spots. But let's call it what it is. He's got like 3 moves that he likes to show off, and that's what they are. They're Roman Reigns spots, and that's all he can do.
And he did that one move wrong. You were calling him out.
He did. He did.
You called him out
he's
like
right.
3 times.
But see, that's not in his move set.
So,
he
of course-
tried to
Ooh.
he tried to do a top wrist lock with and hook it into well, it wasn't necessarily a cobra clutch. It was more of a sleeper style stranglehold. Well, he did it backwards,
Wrong arm.
and then he tried it again, and he did it backwards again.
Wing and a miss.
Now the casual fan's not going to pick up on that.
I'm sure Rollins did.
Oh, Rollins did, and I think that's why Rollins told him, "Let go of me." I mean, you actually can see him saying it, "Let go," and then he just grabbed it wrong again.
Oh, bless his heart.
Bless his heart indeed, and I think my blessing for this match is 2 Meltzers.
And Rollins advanced, and I'll be honest, I was cynical, and I thought it was going to be Lashley.
Yep, I was with you.
I did too.
Yeah.
I did too, because they're pushing Lashley, and but they made the better choice with Rollins, and good on you for it. That might have been the only good call you made tonight, writers.
I mean, also, I don't know what any real difference is to Lashley is now, because all he has now is an angry elf accompanying him.
Yeah.
I would just like to say that after all of the recordings of this podcast, hearing you guys talk so much about Bobby Lashley, I had no idea who this person was, what he looked like. I missed the intro to the match, so when somebody pointed out, "Oh, this is Bobby Lashley," my first reaction was, what kind of wizard brought this action figure to life?
Yeah.
He doesn't look
And
like
he did
a
it
real
wrong,
person.
too. He did it wrong.
Yeah.
It's like if somebody took a Stretch Armstrong and brought it
Yes.
to life.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it exactly. Now, we move on to Dolph Ziggler versus Kurt Angle. Now, guys, 8 years ago, this would have had the makings of a 5-star match. And it wasn't a bad match.
No.
But guys, we got the same match we had the last 3 matches.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
There's no meat on this bone. Angle did what he does, and for him to be out of action, it looked great.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
No, not a lot of high flying. Just we're gonna work.
No, he did a good job putting Dolph over.
Yeah. Ziggler does what he does, which is be awesome. And
Drew McIntyre did what he did best and stood on the outside and scowled a lot.
yeah.
Not a problem here.
I resent that, Barnes.
I-
I think that
Well,
Drew is fantastic.
I will agree with you, but mostly what I see him doing when I watch the pay-per-views is standing outside cheering on Dolph.
That's
And
true.
by cheering on Dolph, I mean glowering.
I think something will change.
Glowering.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I know. I'm sure.
It's gonna have to because he's too good right now. He's over. The crowd sees it. The universe sees it.
Yeah.
And man, I am disappointed. I never saw a Claymore kick tonight. That might be the most devastating move in wrestling right now.
Yes.
And it never happened for me. Little disappointed. Again, Ziggler moves ahead 2 stars or 2 Meltzers. What are you gonna do?
Yep.
Anything else you guys want to say about this one?
This tournament marches on.
Yep.
Yeah.
I will not lie. Like I was not. It was the show. Up until a point was just kind of middle of the road.
It felt like we should be writing letters to our spouses from war.
Yeah.
And I started fading a little later. Like honestly, I was like nodding off a little bit.
This is, I mean, so far, this has been a rough pay-per-view. I wouldn't, well, rough's not good.
Well, rough,
but,
rough in the sense of there's nothing, it's like, it's good, but it's not phenomenal.
It's slow.
It's not, yeah, that, and it's not, and where it's failing is not so bad that you're like, this is awful, I must see this to the end. That comes later. But, but yeah, it's like, so it's just in the middle, and that's kind of the worst thing it can be.
It's
especially
you
coming off of Evolution.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you come off of a pay-per-view like Evolution, and then you give us this. I think the boys in the back, not the boys in the back, I would say the writers and the head bookers, they need to be paying attention. When you got a great match like Evolution, a great pay-per-view, and then you come to this. Now, yeah, the Saudis loved it. They don't see wrestling a lot. Next up, we have our. Is it Raw? It is.
I mean.
Is it the Raw tag team titles?
New Day.
I'm sorry, I'm looking at
it's
Gina's
SmackDown,
notes to
I'm
figure out
sorry.
where we
New
are.
Day in the bar.
Guys,
Yes, okay.
I've been drinking tonight, so bear with me.
I haven't. I just lost track.
Yeah.
We're also slogging through the boring portion right now. I
Yeah.
Yes. We're finally
But this
getting
is
to
where
an
it picked up.
up
It
tempo.
did pick up a little bit. We have the SmackDown tag team titles on the line. The New Day versus your champions, The Bar.
With special guest, The Big Show.
With special guest, The Big Show. Oh my God. How useless was that? Guys, the best thing that happened on this match was New Day came in on a goddamn magic carpet in Saudi Arabia.
It was.
I'm so sorry. I was smoking during that intro.
Well, so was the magic carpet. There was smoke coming up from it. It was just,
Lights
they
were
were
shooting
throwing
out.
out pancakes.
It was great.
They were literally just launching pancakes at this poor Saudi people.
I gotta time my smoke breaks better.
The only thing that could have made this better if they would have started playing the theme from Aladdin. I can show you the world. And, you know, it's... Intro, fantastic.
Yes.
And God bless and preserve the New Day and everything that they are. Saved us from the first half of this
Yes.
travesty pay-per-view. Great match, as per usual. New Day, always hilarious. Good work from the Bar.
Yeah.
Always... you can never hate on this match. It sucks that we've seen it 100 times.
Yes.
But it's always fun.
And they work well together.
Yes,
Right.
they
Yeah.
do.
Unlike some of these other matches that we've seen in perpetuity. And
We'll
but
get to
let's
that. We'll get to
we'll
that.
get there. Sadly, the New Day does not go over. The Bar retains, and I'm okay with that. Good match. I can't go much higher than 3 stars.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Just because the Big Show had to worm his way in and through.
There were some big shenanigans.
Yeah, and he even missed that last little.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. There
His-
was just.
He's supposed to do his knockout punch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
his go home.
Or is this WMD or whatever it calls it?
Yeah.
There was this.
No, I think the WMD is the he's got him in the
Okay.
reverse nest.
Oh, right.
I did write down Cesaro shoulder hit. Dang.
Oh,
There was this.
lots of forearms.
It was not only that, but there was one where the sound of the smack. That I think it was Kofi. Like somebody
echoed
ate
through
it.
the building. Those Saudis turned around like somebody got shot.
Oh,
it was. Well, that wasn't a reference to anything.
We're just going to let that one hang and moving on.
Hang like what?
No, I knew you were gonna say that.
No, I mean, did you guys notice that reaction when you
Yes.
heard that?
I think that was the first noise from
They
the audience.
stopped. And it was a little unnerving.
Yes.
Good work from them.
Absolutely.
Kofi high flying as always.
Looks
Wonderful.
fantastic. I missed seeing Woods in the ring.
Yes.
Big E
Not-
with the belly and belly to bellies. Just
Oh God, that vertical belly to belly.
Yes.
Oof.
That is always so scary to me. And he did that to Sheamus.
Man.
Those are two big men to be throwing each other around like that.
wow, yeah.
And that was our go home, wasn't it?
Close
Well,
to it.
close
Yeah,
to it,
really
except
close.
for
Because there was the
the
distraction.
Big Show botch.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Big E had to be distracted, and then he got smacked.
So back to the tournament.
You thought you could escape.
No, yeah. We have The Miz versus Rey Mysterio. Again, I'm not going to say anything bad about either one of these guys. They're great. They
Yeah.
did good work.
They sure did.
And they picked it up a little bit.
Yes, yes.
There's no meat on this bone, guys.
Yeah.
If I was a dog and you just handed me this, I'd be mad at you. I mean,
I had thought that Miz was going really fast and like actually keeping up with Rey Mysterio, but we talked about that while the match was going on about how Rey Mysterio has a really good way of working with others, like during a match.
You know, he really
and
does.
picking up on other people's energy.
Ray has this incredible knack to go to the level of whoever his opponent, but not to take away from himself.
Yes.
As I know a few wrestlers that will go to the level of their opponent, but it demeans their own ability. I think that Ray has always been able to go to the level of his opponent and not make himself look bad.
Just helps elevate them by playing to their strengths.
Yes.
And when you've got somebody like The Miz in the ring who's just you can call him a vet now.
Yeah.
You don't
Oh,
have-
absolutely.
There's a lot of people that still don't like The Miz. I think The Miz is fantastic. I think he's paid his dues. And
I mean, I don't like him only because of the rivalry with Daniel Bryan, but that.
Well, plus, you're not supposed to. I mean,
Yeah, but no. But the thing is, as a performer, he's wonderful. As a wrestler, he's
absolutely
great.
amazing.
He's doing exactly what he's supposed to be
Yes,
doing.
and-
And that's a testament to it.
Yes.
And you know, he really pulls it off later on in the night.
Yes.
Speaking of which, Miz goes over against Ray. Again, two Meltzers. I don't hate any of these matches. I'm just not in love with them.
Yeah.
They're serviceable.
Yeah, so far this is a standard night on Raw and or SmackDown.
This tournament's chugging along, and nothing's going to stop it.
Yeah. Had I paid money for this,
Ooh.
I would be very angry.
Well, yeah. This will. Yeah. I think that does alleviate some of the critical
Right.
things I would give it.
I mean, thank God I pay a monthly subscription for this, and
Yeah.
I get a whole bunch of extras to go
Yes.
along with it. It makes up, like, I get all my Mid-Atlantic stuff from back in the day, and that feeds me. So,
This would be a lot angrier from me if it were back in the day and it was $29.95 to see this pay-per-view.
Oh no.
just a couple of years ago, it was, I think it was like $60.
No.
For each one?
Yeah,
Damn.
yeah.
No.
It was. Oh yeah, it was. It got very expensive there for a while. So Miz advances, 2 Meltzers. And we're going to keep this tournament rolling with Seth Rollins versus Dolph Ziggler.
And this is where I
We-
feel like it caught back up.
We pick up here. Now, these two, no strangers to each other.
No.
There's history. There's some, workable heat. Boy, these guys can tear it up. Oh, they can go.
And they did.
Yes. Holy cow, they did.
Couple little slow spots there. That's the only reason that I can't go 5 stars on this. That and the match was a little bit shorter than I think it was supposed to have been. What say you guys?
I really don't have anything to offer other than it was a fun watch. It was good.
Yeah. Yes.
It was typical of what happens when they get in the ring together. It's an amazing show.
Much.
It was a big pick me up.
Yeah. I think there was only one interference from McIntyre at that one.
There was
Just one. But still.
Oh yeah, at the
Yes.
end he pushes him off the top.
Yep. Foop.
yeah, just little plots off the
Yep.
top rope, and
But they
And-
feed off each other very well.
Yes.
they really do.
Very well.
And
Oh, there was that nice little moment earlier in the match where Rollins was going to run back into the ring to go after Dolph, and McIntyre just steps in front of him.
Yeah.
yeah, oh yeah. And then you can hear, and that's the one thing that I do like about where we're going. It used to be, if you heard something that was said, that you were like, oh, I'm getting something inside here.
Oh, man.
Now that's part of the story now. And so Seth's giving him the business. He's like, yeah, you go ahead. Hit me.
Yeah.
He gets disqualified and I move on. Please hit me. And he
McIntyre just raises his arms.
raises his arms and
Slowly
backs off
backs away.
like that quote unquote smoky Sean Connery looking person that he is. Thank you, Kara.
I don't know if she heard it.
She
Just
did.
raised
All
her
right.
fist.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a pretty attractive man.
Oh yeah, I want nothing but good things for this guy. I like him.
Yes.
I want to see a title run in his future.
That'd be fun.
4 Meltzers, guys. Fantastic match.
Indeed.
Yep.
Now you would think, okay, this is going to be the turnaround, guys. This is where this pay-per-view is going to take off. But no, because next up, now I'm glad you guys are sitting down because we have got a match that you guys aren't quite prepared for.
What?
Something new and exciting?
Something so new and so exciting.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe.
Oh.
Wait,
Okay, that's not what I thought you were referring
back
to.
up.
Guys, I'm tired of being nice about this.
Don't be nice.
I was about to
I'm
ask,
ready.
do you even want to cover this one?
It's time to be like the rest of the internet.
No, this is the same goddamn match that we have seen 6 or 7 times now.
Yes.
But I will say, in their defense, they finally showed up for the match.
They did, and I
For the
don't know
first-
if that's just the salty air or the
Maybe
feeling
they
of
came off of the other matches.
maybe,
Something.
or maybe they said, "Hey, boy, they Rollins and Ziggler tore it down out there, or burned it down."
Yeah.
Guys, let's. Hey, Joe, come on, let's step it up a little.
Because they actually turned up the speed on this. They put some life into it for real.
And they did put some life into it. They did turn up the speed, but it was still the same match.
Yes, it was.
With Samoa Joe going right through the rings. And
Again.
that was just about it.
Again, very impressive, but it's nothing that we haven't seen
No.
6 times.
No.
And lots of
And we didn't even
spit.
get a story before.
Yeah, a lot of spittle,
There's
a lot of
spittle
saliva.
everywhere.
That was the recurring spot of the night.
Yes.
Spit flying.
Just,
Again, it's that dry air out there. It's you gotta.
it was. Woo. And pyrotechnics.
I had originally put down 2 Meltzers for this match. I'm reneging on that, and I'm giving it 0 Meltzers because we've seen this match before, and right now this is just lazy. I understand the reason that we're seeing this match is because Daniel Bryan bounced out,
We don't.
we
know.
can't say he opted because
He just was not
I feel
present.
like it wasn't an option.
Daniel Bryan did not attend.
He did not attend. I would like to think that it was a moral stance that he took. Again, I don't know. But they had their match on SmackDown, and I believe I covered this on the Evolution podcast, and it was 5 stars. It was incredible. How amazing would that have been to see at this pay-per-view?
I'm still sad. I have not watched that all the way through yet. So.
Oh, you
No
need
spoilers.
to. No, I don't know.
But.
I don't recommend listening to the last episode of This Is a Work then.
No. But I've watched AJ he's got the moves and all that, but I was excited to see somebody else other than Samoa Joe fight AJ Styles. And I was so excited that it was Daniel Bryan. I was like, okay, cool, because Daniel Bryan's got more of a submission hold, kind of stance. He tries to use a lot of kicks in his attacks. I don't know. I was interested to see how that would play out, and then it didn't. And on top of that, it was the same old crap that we've been seeing for so long.
Right. And, a lot of people in our circle do say it's Samoa Joe. That they're saying that he's stinking up the joint.
I don't agree with.
I don't necessarily agree. Because I've seen Joe have good matches. I know he can have good matches. He's had good matches recently. As much as I hate to say it, guys, I love AJ Styles, but I think it's on him. I mean, he's the champion. He's the one that's holding the flag. And he's been holding that flag for a year now. And we've seen some really boring matches for over a year now. I think that's where it's going. I think the blame has got to go to AJ. I think we're tired of seeing AJ. I think we're personally tired of AJ as a face.
There was a teaser of that.
Which we didn't get to see because of Bryan opting out.
Well, also I guess so. I didn't think of it that way. Oh, man.
I thought about that.
There.
Yeah, good call, Gina. I thought about that, and I was like, boy, this would be nice to see.
But
just overall fatigue is set in. Yeah.
That's exactly what's going on with
fatigue
this.
for AJ, fatigue for this continued Samoa Joe thing happening.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I understand circumstances were kind of beyond control in terms of who could
sort of
sub in.
And I wasn't going to talk about it, but you know what? Let's let's talk about it.
Let's.
Are we about to get controversial?
I don't know that we're going to get controversial because I'm not I don't like getting political in any facet. I definitely don't want to do it on this podcast. Why do you think he opted out? Do you think it was because of what's going on over there? I've also heard rumors about how he's making a stance for the women superstars.
I could kind of see that one.
Yeah.
Knowing what I know about Bryan's character, that's a possibility.
Yes.
A strong one.
I've also heard a rumor that he was a little bit afraid. I can't blame him for any of that. I'll be honest. A lot of people will just like, you don't need to be a pussy about it. No. I don't blame him for that. If you're basically going into another world.
Yeah.
Well, allow me to speculate for a second, but a lot of jokes were made tonight about the overall age of a lot of the competitors that worked tonight. So just outside of the wrestlers that were in Saudi Arabia for this match, or for this pay-per-view, what would you say the ratio of younger wrestlers versus older ones is?
There's Rusev. He's younger.
How many young
He's
guys
younger.
are now?
Really not that
We're talking,
much.
I think Rusev is like 32, 33, somewhere in that area. I mean, he's young. He's not.
It really
He's
seems
not a
to
spring
me
chicken,
like,
but
it really seems to me like we saw a lot of older wrestlers who were probably not as politically or socially motivated as some people
Yes.
like Daniel Bryan or John Cena would be.
that's a good
Guys
point.
who
Of course,
win.
now let's talk about that for a second. Let me put the kibosh on your theory that you're heading towards, because Daniel Bryan's 44 years old. So,
Oh, okay. All right. Fair.
I didn't realize that.
How old is Baron Corbin?
Baron Corbin is a young man.
Yeah, he looked like the youngest person present tonight.
Yeah, he's a baby. I think he's 27, maybe 28, somewhere. Which, in wrestling years, that's a young man.
Yeah.
I definitely thought Daniel Bryan was a lot younger than that.
No, not. I think he might be 32, 33, somewhere in that area. Maybe we should Google that and find
Yeah.
out before I just go spouting it off like I
plus
know
I
what
will
the hell I'm
say-
talking about.
Plus, I would think it's skewed older because some of the what I would call like the special attractions of this show were meant to be things like older wrestlers who they love seeing, but they haven't had a chance to see in person. So I mean,
Yeah.
like the main event with DX, the Brothers of the Struck God.
He's 37.
Okay.
Okay.
37.
All right.
Okay, he's
In a
up
row?
there. Every year, yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Like I don't judge Daniel at all for this.
I think it could be multiple reasons that just coalesced into this being a bad
Yeah.
idea for him.
From a business angle, I've said this a million times. Wrestling is not a job. Wrestling is an opportunity. I think from a business standpoint, I know it's a bad environment to go into. Sometimes in this world, you have to do things that you don't necessarily agree with, especially when you have a family. And while I applaud, his moral stance, whatever it may be, sometimes you got to bite the bullet. Again, I'm not going to judge the man because really I'm speculating and I don't know what his reasons are. But I did want to throw that out there too, just so I can cover all the bases. I was like, well, I mean, do you think that's fair?
I think that at the very least the political climate that we are currently under with everything that's happened would give me pause. It would
Yes.
give
Absolutely.
immediate pause to go over there for any reason where I could potentially have an accident if things don't go well.
I mean, don't get me. I love my wife and my son and my soon-to-be grandson or granddaughter. Either way, we don't know yet. Very much. Have I made that announcement on here yet?
No.
I think you
Well,
just did.
Booyah! Two Dogs is going to be
Grandpa Dogs.
a grandpa.
Grandpa Dogs.
Very excited.
Yay.
Point is, I love everybody in my family without limits. I don't know if I could do that, especially if I know what type of environment I'm going into with the political climate that's happening right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've got it in me,
You would do anything for love.
but I won't do that. It's
I don't
if
think it's.
Meatloaf has taught me anything.
Yep.
Thank you for the assist on that. Let's move on though.
Should we?
I don't know.
Should we? Here is
Can I
where
just? Did anyone bring tissues over here? Because I might need them for the rest of this.
Let me just interject for a second. I actually Googled it, and apparently part of Daniel Bryan's stance was because they weren't going to allow Sami Zayn to perform in Saudi Arabia.
Really?
Now that's
Whoa.
something that.
because he's Israeli?
Oh well,
Syrian.
Syrian. Okay.
he's Syrian.
Oh,
And I would imagine,
Wow.
now you correct me since you've got it in front of you, Sami Zayn has of late been taking a very hard political stance about a lot of things. I'm not gonna, get into, what his political stance is and whether I agree with it or disagree with it. But he's taking a very hard stance about it. Do you think that had anything to do with it?
Oh, I have no idea. I'm basing this entirely on what I just read about Daniel Bryan and Triple H. Because
Interesting.
There was an article posted 3 hours ago about both of them.
Well,
The Triple H
interesting.
relating to what happened in that last match.
no, we'll get there.
That is, see, now that brings a whole new spin on
And
this.
that, yeah.
Now, see, in light of that, I'm a little bit upset with him because I believe if it's not for the political climate, if it's just for, look, my buddy can't go over here, I'm mad about that, so I don't think I'm going to go either. I appreciate the loyalty. I believe I would have said, man, I hate that for you. I got to go make some money for my family. And if Sami Zayn, being the type of person that I really want to think he is, I don't think he would have objected to that.
The article that I read also mentioned that Daniel Bryan had no idea what the living conditions were like in Saudi Arabia until the last time that he went, and being present for the last event in Saudi Arabia it also affected his decision not
I was about to
go
say
back.
it was probably
Okay.
I was about to say it was probably the tipping point, not the primary cause.
Okay. Well, now that'll sway this back in another direction.
Yeah.
Quick question.
Sure.
Living conditions for the wrestlers themselves?
No,
Or
the
for...
Saudis.
I just wanted to make
Saudi
sure. Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, and that was actually spoken about by Chris Jericho the last
Yes.
time that they were over there.
Yeah.
And he's like, man, he's like, I could not wait to get out of here. As soon as I stepped off this plane, I wanted to turn around and get back on the plane. It was like, it was that bad. So yeah, well, retract what I just said then, because that is a different animal.
Yep. I feel like there would have been a lot of reasons.
Sure.
Speaking of different animals.
No. Do we have to?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
we've got
I'm
to.
looking at Gina's notes. This is going to be magical.
So we have the Beast Incarnate versus the Monster Among Men
Yay.
for the vacant Universal title.
Speaking of vacant, Baron Corbin came out to be.
Oh, Barnes, when did you get here? Well done.
That's about right.
He looked like a lost puppy out there, didn't he?
He was just smiling.
That's
He's just
his
like, are all
normal
these people
face.
here to cheer me?
He just brought out there with that. He comes out there, he grabs that belt like it's his.
Yeah.
Walked up to the ring like he wasn't really sure what to do.
Like, I think they just told him right there, like,
Yeah, I
go.
think that just happened. He's like, you know what, Baron, why don't you go out there?
Okay. Oh, okay, thanks.
So he goes out there. He shows the belt to the ref. He shows the belt to Strowman. He shows the belt to Lesnar.
Turns to leave.
And he just pieces out. But wait.
There's more.
Not a lot more.
Yeah.
He pops Strowman in the back with the belt.
Who honestly should have just kind of no-sold that.
Yeah.
In my world, yeah. But see, height makes a difference in wrestling.
Right,
So,
right.
and Corbin's like 6'6", 6'7". That's tall enough to hurt Strowman.
It's like a reverse. You must be
Logic.
this tall to ride. You must be this tall to hurt the top stars.
Right. So he hits Strowman with the belt. Then they ring the bell.
And then I would call it a mockery of wrestling.
Yeah.
That's perfect
The
description.
best thing that happened was Baron Corbin hit Strowman. That's the most technical thing that I saw out of this match.
I'll preface this by saying I think I get what they were going for. It didn't work, but I think I get what they were going for.
Would you like to take us through this match?
Sure. Okay, it's short.
I don't know if you can remember how. I know it's a lot of moveset from these two titans, but
it's funny because he doesn't have any moves.
if you can't remember something, I'll
Please,
be
by all
here to
means,
tag
either
in.
either of you can jump in at any moment.
Sure.
So the sequence of events, as reconstructed as I best can. Corbin knocks Strowman in the back of the head. I believe Lesnar immediately grabs him for an F5.
He fell into Lesnar
with an F5
for the F5. Yeah,
right. So I think the point was, and
poorly delivered.
Yeah, he couldn't spin him. He could not spin him for it. It goes for the pin. Strowman kicks out, gets up. Was there anything between another F5, or was this just immediately?
No.
There was another.
That was it.
There was another F5.
There was
Pin
another
attempt.
F5. Yeah.
Pin attempt, kick out.
You're doing great so far.
Thank you. I'm so nervous. Gosh. Was there an immediate F5 after that?
Yes,
Okay.
there was.
I think there was.
Okay. I'm just trying to keep track because there is one point where Strowman is thrown to the floor.
Yeah, that's coming next.
Okay. So because the pin kick out. Now I want to stress I get what they're going for here. The idea is
What they're going for is another F5.
well don't get ahead of me.
I'm sorry, I'm burying the lead.
Well, I think logically what I think they're trying to do is Corbin knocks him off balance because he's evil. Lesnar just starts F5ing him. It's like a poorer version of Lesnar versus Goldberg where they're just like slamming each other with finishers and one of them picks up the win. Where it's like he's supposed to be knocked off balance and not be able to recover to put up a defense or fight. So Lesnar just immediately wears him down. It's like playing the WWE video games where you the player
That's exactly
No.
what.
where you the player have like just been taking it to the CPU and you have finisher stocked, so you just keep hitting finisher after finisher until you finally get the pin. Like it's like I've played those matches on my games and been like, wow, that wouldn't have flown on WWE television. I was wrong. Because what happens next is Strowman gets up. He's trying to mount the defense. Did he get dumped to the floor at that point, or is it?
Yeah, he got dumped to the floor.
Dumped to the
at that
floor.
point, yeah.
Okay. I cannot remember what happens on the outside. Do you either of you recall? There's a brief scuffle.
There is a brief scuffle there, and I want to say he gave him a shot and sent him into the guardrail.
Yes.
Right. Okay, I can't remember how long that lasts, but they get back in the ring.
No, that was it.
That was it. Back in the ring, another F5.
It was another F5.
I
yeah,
believe
F5.
there were, 5 F5s.
Okay, I'm just trying to remember the sequence. Yeah, so he kicks out. There's another one. Like, Lesnar didn't even throw a suplex. Lesnar didn't even throw a suplex. There's another F5, and then it was like, well, before the crowd is trying to figure out where is this going, then the pen happened, and it was over.
Yeah.
I literally wrote in my notes, done.
Yeah.
Just done.
Yeah.
Well, that's in brackets. Follow that, and that
well,
follows.
yes.
That follows. What the fuck?
Guys,
Brackets done.
This
Done.
might be. I'm pretty sure this is my lowest rating that I've ever given a match.
Yes.
I know that I've given 0 Meltzers. I know that I've given a negative Meltzer, and I think I may have given two negative Meltzers. This one is -3 Meltzers.
Wow.
I would have gone 4.
You were close.
But thank God for Baron Corbin hitting him with the back, or I would have had to go a -5 Meltzer rating.
Hold
'cause
on,
then
you guys. I believe that there is something that Robert Bradford would like to share with us.
Who?
He's back.
What?
Lean on
That's
in
Robert
here.
Bradford's music.
Yeah, lean on in here and tell
I'm
us.
crawling in through a ventilation shaft right now. I've infiltrated the recording area. I've crunched the numbers, and it looks like Brock Lesnar hit Braun Strowman with, yes, an F25.
Wow.
I've checked the math several times.
And numbers don't lie.
Thank you,
And that
Robert.
spells
I'm going to
disaster
escape.
for Braun Strowman.
You stopped us for that? That was, are you serious?
It's what this match deserved.
You're our producer, and you stopped us for that.
I haven't had a good dad joke this entire episode.
Hey,
Robert
guys.
Bradford
Hey, guys.
provided a good one.
I date that.
No, granted, I don't blame you, but that was rough.
Is it rougher than the match we just described?
No.
Okay,
No.
okay. Point taken. All right.
I think the joke.
Okay.
I think the joke itself just gets the one Meltzer.
Which is still higher than the match.
Yeah. Okay. Well, all right. In light of that, well done, Robert.
Yay, Robert.
Because there were talks around the TV of giving that a -5. Excuse me, a
Yes.
negative F5 Meltzers.
Negative F5.
Yeah,
That's
you're right.
not-
Without the Corbin thing was the only redeeming factor because otherwise it would have just been inexplicable.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean,
I remember.
It still is. It still is.
it
Like, I can't.
begs the question:
What the hell?
does and now
Yes.
it is my understanding that Vince was running Gorilla this evening. Is this his way of just? Is like, you know what? Fuck y'all.
No, that comes later.
No. Go ahead, Dave. Go ahead.
No. There was a silver lining to this whole thing. I wanted to start this episode out. What you actually heard at the beginning of this episode, listeners, comes much later in the pay-per-view. I kind of just wanted to go around with the microphone and get everyone's reactions to this match because it was an all-around, what the fuck was that? What the fuck is going on? That was bullshit. Just a semicircle around the TV of that.
I mean, to be honest, I'm usually pretty forgiving, and I can just say that was shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Utter shit.
Yeah.
But the worst part is, it was unsurprising. Like,
I
that's exactly
know.
what he
That's
does.
yeah.
I think what they're going to try and do is just have Braun keep chasing the title.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I believe I
guess they're
said that earlier.
I think they're going to push it
and,
along to a bigger event so that they can finally have him take the
hope
title.
So
I hope
really
at WrestleMania
do,
he gets something great.
because
that would have to be it.
It's
I-
gotta
That'd be
be.
the end game.
I would like
That or
to
Royal Rumble.
see.
Yeah. Oh, that would
Roman-
be cool.
Yeah. Right.
So
That would be cool.
or I would. You know what would have. Let me play armchair booker for a minute.
Go.
So
Can't do worse than what happened.
Right.
Gosh.
Let's say Roman vacates the title. All right, so we have Crown Jewel, and give me the pen on this, and I will, and I'm gonna write this for you. Lesnar and Brock, they go at it. Let's say, I really want Brock to wrestle because I know he can. I have seen him wrestle.
Yes.
He can do this.
He can.
Let's say this thing goes Broadway.
Wow. Oh, wow.
What?
Wow.
Let's say this thing goes Broadway. There's no winner.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
I thought you meant other Broadway.
I was
No,
like,
no, no,
I
no,
was,
no, no.
I
There's a
was,
song and dance.
I was literally
No, no,
trying
no.
to imagine Bobby Lashley in
there-
like a
there's a-
gold sequin dress.
There's a
Oklahoma
couple
where
of-
the wind comes. no. That's,
There's a couple of different wrestling versions of Broadway. The one I thought of, which shocked the hell out of me, was like go for like an hour.
yeah.
Oh no.
No. I
Oh,
want to.
no.
I want to see this thing go
No contest.
no contest.
I would think that would be fine.
and per not only no contest. I want to see a time limit draw.
Yeah, that's fine. That's what it is. I was misremembering. That's what a Broadway is.
Yeah.
Time limit draw.
My amateur and musical theater brain went very different.
Yeah.
ways. Sorry.
No.
for that.
I want to see you guys go Broadway. I don't want there to be a winner here.
I
So
mean,
now,
There were no winners here.
Yeah.
No,
really,
there wasn't.
I mean,
But for the wrong reasons.
yeah.
so now
No.
we're going in to Survivor Series. There's still no Universal Champion. So maybe it's Strowman, it's Lesnar, and now it's AJ Styles.
No.
Because Survivor Series is the two competing brands. We still don't have a Universal Champion. Or maybe, now that I think about it, let's say AJ Styles goes over. Mm-hmm. But because this was not a unification match, it's still vacant. Well, we go into TLC, and maybe we do something about it, and maybe we don't. Let this go all the way to the Royal Rumble, and finally, we say 30 men in the ring. The winner of this match is your undisputed Universal Champion. And that way, this belt does not have to go to Lesnar. For those that don't like Strowman, it does not have to go to Strowman. We could have Finn Balor reclaim his Universal title, in which he never got a rematch for.
Nope.
We could have Seth Rollins regain that Universal title. Well deserved.
Oh.
Sadly, now there's a bad part to this. That means, sadly, Bobby Lashley is also in this mix. Mm-hmm. And he could get that Universal title. This was another one that he never got a rematch for. It creates a lot of possibilities. Yeah, I think it makes for good television.
And for a flaw as glaring as that last one you listed, it's still a damn sight better than what happened.
Yes.
Right.
I just... what?
I mean, and it's not like they haven't done this before. We had a cage match with Strowman and... not Strowman. With Lesnar and Reigns.
Oh my goodness, that was...
where they just went through the cage.
Yeah.
And
They
was,
both landed, and then they
Thus
just...
defeating the purpose.
Yeah.
and that was it.
So it's not like this is an unthinkable idea.
Well, I mean, after we saw the ad later in the show, it became obvious why they did it, which was... oh, the ad right after the match, I should say. Which was, they want all of their opposing champions for the brands to fight each other at Survivor Series.
Yeah.
They want to have their Universal and World Champions fight each other. Or is it WWE? Universal and WWE champion? Or
Yeah, it's a Universal World Champion for Raw.
Yep. And then
WWE
Intercontinental
Champion.
and U.S. title fight each other. That's what they want. So
And then the Raw Women's and the Raw SmackDown.
Yep. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
Look, I'm fine with that. I'm good with that
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I love the brands competing
Sure.
like that.
but
If
this
we're
was
going
your-
to do that, I'm going to need some belt unification.
But this was your fix.
yeah. I mean, why? Why are we doing
It's
that?
like you slapped a Band-Aid on a wall crack and called it a day.
Yeah, it's the little Dutch boy sticking his finger in the dike. As there's so many other cracks. What are you doing? It makes no sense. You guys are looking at me like you guys have seriously never heard that.
No, I've heard
reference?
it.
Okay.
No.
I can honestly say no.
I was waiting for someone-
Never heard that in my
Yeah,
life.
It's an
No,
old.
I was going to let that obvious joke go.
Yeah, I looked at Dave because I was like, "Are you gonna do it?"
I no-sold that one.
Well, the WTF train keeps on rolling.
No.
Boy, does it.
Wow.
I wrote beyond done.
Okay.
I can see it from here.
Yes, you can, because I wrote it in enormous
Well, as I
letters.
s-
Because it is time to crown the
that's
best
there.
in the
Look at
world.
Yes, it is time to crown the best wrestler in the world.
Best
the
in the world.
winner of the World Cup. Guys, we've been building to this all night.
Hell yeah.
We've seen
Such enthusiasm.
the first round match. We've seen the quarterfinals. We are down to the finals. We're here, guys.
is
We
it.
are here.
And it's going to be Dolph Ziggler versus The Miz.
Yeah.
Kind of a rare heel final.
Yeah. Makes
But
it
it's-
interesting.
Going to be pretty big either way.
Yes.
God, if I didn't have to keep an eye on the time code and make sure that this thing kept recording, I would go and have a cigarette break right now.
That's fair. I understand. Because the action gets underway and Ziggler is sent outside.
Yes.
And Miz goes to follow.
Started strong.
It was.
though.
It was
They
a
started
good.
strong.
It was
Yeah.
technical. You were saying it was like they were. What's the term? Oh, just
I'm
You know what?
missing-
Never mind. It's okay. It'll come back to me in like 20 minutes, and I'll say it again.
Well,
Whatever.
they started out really strong, and you're like, okay, all right, here we go,
And
guys.
Ziggler gets into the outside.
Yep.
Miz goes to follow, hits the floor.
And then
And he does now a testament to Miz. He quote unquote rolls his ankle,
I thought it was his knee.
or it was
It was his knee.
it looked like his
he-
whole knee went backwards.
guys. Every person. Now here's the thing. I knew no spoilers going into this. I knew what was going to happen. I didn't know how it was going to happen. I came into this kind of with an idea. Everybody sold this that was watching with us.
Oh my gosh.
Everybody thought, oh, he's hurt. He's hurt. I knew what was going to happen, and I thought it for a second.
Yeah,
It was-
it took a minute to work out that it was.
Well,
Once
Am I the only person
gonna
who
say it?
immediately saw this as a performance?
Well, that's the thing. Sometimes they're really good at like, okay, is this actually happening? Or it can take me a few seconds sometimes.
once
But
I saw
The tip off is how people react to it around them.
yes.
when I saw the ref lean over the wrong way.
Oh.
That's when I was like, and I'm not going to go into details on that, but the ref kind of came over and he didn't do what he was supposed to do. And that's when I was like, okay, here we go. Which probably took about, right at about 20 to 30 seconds for me. And I was like, okay, here we go.
So Corbin and Shane McMahon are ringside to see who wins the.
Playing it up.
Oh yeah.
Oh, big ham.
And Shane, of course, is concerned for Miz, who has clearly hurt himself.
Even throws out a couple of inside terms just to send it. He was like, are you okay? Are you okay? Okay. Well, you heard a pop? All right, we'll just bring it home. Bring it home then. And you hear things like that for the smarks out there. I was like that. I mean, everybody kind of what's he just said? Bring it home, guys. I was like,
And Miz is struggling to get to his feet, but he can't do it.
Yeah,
Keeps
but he's
falling.
never been hurt. He's never been injured.
Never been hurt. Well, he started overplaying his hand
Yep.
a little bit,
Yep.
A little bit.
but nonetheless, still very good.
Yes. But then this is where it just
And
Now-
then things took a turn.
for the worst.
Well, what are we gonna do? Because the ref, the official
It's like he can't
for
wrestle
the World Cup tournament,
for the best in the world.
for the best in the world, Chris,
They
Best.
said that so many times. The best in the world.
Best.
in the world.
The ref is gonna make the announcer say that since Miz can't wrestle, Ziggler's gonna win.
Yeah.
But
Lo and behold,
God.
Shane had a different idea.
Oh, did he ever?
And he took that mic from that ref. Or from the announcer like at least 3 times.
No, you're not doing this. It's not going down that way. This is for the World Cup. I'll compete.
he said that out loud. Loud enough for cameras to pick up, and so we immediately.
I think there was like a universal just groan.
There was a
in
slight
the-
delay. There was a
in
slight
this-
delay as we all
oh.
processed what he said.
And then there was a groan.
I told my wife when this happened because, like I said, I knew what was going to happen. I didn't know how it was going to happen, but I knew that Shane was going to do this.
I thought when you gave her the cryptic warning, it meant. What did I think it
You
meant?
thought Shane was going to die that night.
No, I thought that meant Miz was going to lose and get bounced from
Yes,
SmackDown.
I was with you. That's exactly what I thought because you kept giving that hint over and over and over. So I was like, well, it's got to be that.
Well, the one thing that I did tell Kara before I exited on the entrance when Shane came out, I was like, Kara, who absolutely loves Shane McMahon, like, I want you to watch his entrance and really drink it in. Why? No.
You can't
I
say
want
things about
you
that like
to
wrestling.
enjoy this. because you're not going to in a few minutes. And boy, was I right.
Oh, God. So he gets in the ring and he strips down to wrestle.
His
Dolph Ziggler.
jeans and his work shoes.
To be fair, Shane looks fantastic.
He does, and then logically, Dolph has wrestled twice tonight already.
Mm-hmm.
But those skinny jeans looked uncomfortable as hell to wrestle.
Well, yeah. That man's how old?
Oh, bless.
Oh,
Too
yeah.
old for those jeans.
Yeah.
Too old for
yes.
those. Yeah. To be fair, probably roughly the same age as every other wrestler that's been on the card this evening.
That's about
Close.
right.
Yeah.
He gets in the ring. He throws a barrage of terrible punches.
Flurry of
I
punches.
mean,
Couple of really horrible kicks.
Yeah. Dolph has a small response to it.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But finally, Shane gets him down in the corner and does the,
The Van Daminator.
yeah.
And
Or as he calls it, the coast
the
to coast.
coast to coast, which is garbage. It's like, look, I grew up with ECW. That's Van Daminator, and anybody that calls it coast to coast can. You know what? It doesn't matter.
Goodness.
I'm sorry. I'm very angry about this. You can call it whatever you want to. It's fine. This is a free country.
So he hits
God
the
bless
Van
America.
Coast. He hits the Van Coastinator.
The Van Coastinator. And he gets the 3 count. And Shane McMahon wins the World Cup.
And is
go ahead.
Is
Go
the
ahead.
best in the world. He's the best in the world.
As per the caption
Yes.
that was under.
The Chiron popped up and declared it true. So
Yeah.
No.
there, it's there. It's there.
Winner of the World Cup and best in the world.
It's on video. It's on video. It's official.
Just no.
Best in the world.
I'm not even going to cut out this uncomfortable silence.
It just explains everything.
I want the listeners to bask in this the way that we had.
No,
We're
I
soaking
want
in
you to
how
feel
best in the
what
world
we
Shane is.
felt.
In awe of the best in the world.
This is
All hail.
I'll keep
look. I am not giving it a negative Meltzer. Well, hang on. And the reason that I'm not giving it a negative
Are you just
Meltzer
going to abstain from giving?
is because they at least they have an idea for an angle.
Oh, clearly.
What in God's name that could possibly be and why is a mystery to me right now. I don't know. I am going to assume the geniuses in the writing offices of WWE, who, not more than a week ago, gave us Evolution.
Oh,
So
bless evolution.
how can I say you don't know what in the hell you're doing after they just gave us Evolution?
You're right. It's a mystery.
Oh my! You were
See-
sitting there waiting to say
see,
that.
It's full of changes that no one sees.
You feel good about yourself now? Yeah, you do. It's
He's right, though. It is a mystery full of changes.
what time did you get to bed last night after you came up with it?
Oh,
Yeah, the best in the world, Shane McMahon. There you go.
Alright.
Now,
It's time.
you would think, wow, what a dumpster of a pay-per-view this is. We're not done.
Half of us gave up at this point.
Yeah.
and then I don't want to say magic happened.
I would say an unhappy. I don't even.
An unhappy
It was
accident of a
magical.
blessing.
We just
yeah.
have to talk. We're just going to have to talk it through because
Yeah.
I still have not given that a rating yet.
Pure
Yeah.
chaos erupted for the main event.
Now, if you listened to our last podcast, and I'm not talking about Evolution, I'm talking about oh my God, I've forgotten what it was.
Hell in a Cell?
No.
No, wait,
No,
what was
no.
what was after that?
Oh my God, guys!
No, because it was Robert.
Super Showdown.
Oh, there we
Thank
go.
you. It was the Australian.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was. That's right. It was the
Down
Australian
under.
super letdown, and
Yeah, that last match got him riled up. He's
in that ultra card.
I mean,
Our
you
main
could-
event.
You could not be more correct when you call it that for the main event.
Super letdown.
Yeah, our main event was Triple H versus the Undertaker, and it was the last time that they were ever going to meet, at least until they got to Saudi Arabia. And now we're
Well,
going to.
I mean, it was supposed to be the last singles match they'd ever have together.
But they
Yeah.
did not ever specify
Last time
that.
out.
no, never
And-
specified.
It wasn't
Nah.
originally this match just going to be Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker.
Mm-hmm.
And then they kind of swapped things around based on how, I guess, that show went.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
but
And
you know, yeah. How is? I mean,
But what we got
It
is,
came back to bite him in the butt.
in the chest.
boy, I tell you.
Alrighty.
So we got a tag match going
This might take as long as the match actually did.
with the newly reformed Degeneration X.
For the what time?
Lord
Oh
only
God,
knows.
this is one, two,
This is when they-
three. Is this the fifth time?
Maybe. This is like the
Wow.
third time like, in terms of
I
novelty
think
acts.
this is like the fourth or fifth incarnation of DX.
Goodness.
It's, I mean, so you got two old men out there pretending to be kids and telling everybody to suck it.
And then you have the Brothers of Destruction.
Yeah, and you got two old men in Halloween costumes.
Yes.
Well,
What we thought we were going to get was a standard kind of
garbage match.
garbage, like back and forth tag. It would have been.
Yeah.
It would what we were expecting was probably just going to be a better showing overall because with them tagging out and doing spots, and things going a little crazy, and just overall a better experience because there were more people working together,
Yeah.
and it would have been.
We thought it would be better, but still, nonetheless, in theory, I expected to give it nothing less than one Meltzer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
What
So-
we got?
Early on, very early on,
Yeah.
Triple H tore his pectoral muscle,
His
his right one.
His right one.
It was
Tore his right it clean. Just
Now, had I not known that had happened going in, I would have raked this match over the coals, and I would have called bullshit on everything that happened in this match. But I knew that Paul was hurt,
yeah.
so we saw it when he was hurt, and I decided to let everybody in on that action.
Yeah.
And-
but I mean, once you saw it,
Yeah.
you saw it.
And I would not call this a great match or a match for the ages, but we saw something special.
Yes.
Yeah, because what happened? These guys.
Well, just to walk it through real quick.
Please.
When the pectoral tears, it basically hobbles you from being able to use your right arm and shoulder, right?
It basically rolls up like one of the old school blinds when you give it a pull. It just snaps up and just
Yeah.
starts rolling.
And that's just an intense amount of pain, and it limits your arm movements completely. Like you're almost hobbled for the most of the match. Triple H was holding his arm up against himself.
He could do nothing but chop with his left arm. But guys, what you saw after that was they had choreographed a match, and it was evident that the match at the beginning was choreographed. They had been down at the Performance Center. They had worked their stuff out. When Hunter got hurt, they had to throw their match out because he was a big part of this. and now he wasn't. Michaels had to step in and carry the load. You got to see some old school call it in the ring. Now, because they weren't really ready, it was evident. You could watch them calling it in the ring. They weren't prepared for it, and because of the way our camera angles are set up nowadays, you can see it.
Yeah.
Not that I think a lot of people knows what that looks like anymore.
As an amateur wrestling fan, I did not.
Right.
I mean, only because you said, "Oh, well, he's doing this and this and this."
Mm-hmm.
But no, as a fairly new wrestling watcher, I did not notice.
Guys, I'll be honest with you. I got a little misty watching it.
Yeah.
Because it's an art form that is now passed on through what, in my opinion, is the greatest art form that there is out there today. And one version of it is pretty much dead. And they brought it back to life. And they did. They displayed a type of manliness, a type of bravery that you would not see in today's wrestling.
It was fascinating. It was just absolutely fascinating knowing you letting us in, that allowed us to see just how hard they had to work to make this match work. And they weren't going to finish early.
No, they were not going home.
No.
They were going to work this match. I believe that happened probably around the 6 or 7 minute mark.
Early, super early into like a 35-minute match.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. They worked another 30 minutes hard, and it probably was longer than that.
It just felt like
sure
an
it felt
eternity.
like I was about to
Oh
say.
my gosh.
Now, Michaels, who I had a lot of bad things to say about him the last, not the last one, but the last Super Letdown for his work. Boy, he turned it up. It looked like the Shawn Michaels of old. He was doing the no arm nip up. Mm-hmm. He threw that super kick like it was 1992. He dropped that elbow like he was Macho Man himself.
He took a hell of a beating.
Oh,
my
did he
goodness.
ever? Guys, he looked great. Hunter, who, not to be denied, kept trying to get them back on track
And
to
pulling
finish
himself.
the match.
It was amazing
Oh my
watching
goodness.
people watch this and everyone just screaming for Hunter to stop trying.
Yes.
Um,
his other left arm just pulling himself up, one rung at a time on the just side. It was crazy.
At one point, you can see he knew he had a spot coming up on the outside of the ring next to the Spanish announce table.
Yeah.
At one point, you caught a glimpse of him, guys, literally crawling. And you
Yes.
know he was supposed to have already been there. They were vamping at that point.
And
You could see him crawling with urgency to try to get there.
And him taking that table spot was
Oh my
how they bought him time.
goodness.
They bought him time with that table spot so he could lay there for a while and get
But-
himself back together.
But you know, guys, this is why those 4 men are the best in the business. Nobody in that locker room, I don't care what superstar it is, could have pulled that off. They would have went home. Every one of them would.
Yeah.
That without question. These guys, they know what kind of money's at stake. They know that these people came here to see a show. They also know with what's going on, they may not come back next time. This might be the last thing they ever get to see.
Yep.
And it's something that they're going to talk about. they made sure they handled business. It's a dying art form. You don't get to see that anymore. I mean, it's you're never going to see that kind of match again. And it does my heart good to know that we had those 4 guys bringing it home.
That match is going to be forever memorable. Maybe not for the ways they wanted it to be.
No, definitely not.
But it's going to stick with me.
No.
Yes, absolutely.
A clinic of a match? No, not in any way, shape, or form.
But I would say ultimately they rescued it.
The heart and soul of wrestling was very much alive in that match.
Watching our friends scream in concern as Triple H did the pedigree.
Oh my gosh.
As he moved his arms, moved his right arm in particular, getting things done.
Lift.
When we first started this podcast, we had an excerpt from David Hensley. What you heard was us yelling about that main event.
Yeah, at a certain point during the match, everyone was screaming. It was the most excited I'd ever heard this crowd get about a match, and that's including everything that happened in Evolution. That's the best of the pay-per-views we've seen. Even before we started recording this show, I'd never heard a reaction like that, and there was a point where I was like, shit, I should be recording this. And then things sort of died down, and I thought the match was coming to an end, and it started picking back up again. So I ran in here, I picked up a microphone, and I ran back so I could catch the last 60 seconds of the match.
And good on you for it, man, because, again, a clinic by no shade of the imagination, but the heart and soul of what wrestling was, is, and should always be was in that main event. And
It was magical.
that is why I love this art form. What just happened there. And that's why then, now, forever.
Yes.
That's why I will always love this sport of wrestling. I don't know what to give that match. I can't give it 5 stars.
I think it's unclassifiable for me.
Yeah.
It's an outlier.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it has to go.
I think you could even subcategorize it. Like,
Right.
for
Is there anything different than a Meltzer?
I guess I could call it an apter, but
Can you give
that's
it
an inside joke. Nobody's going to get that.
Can you give it a McMahon?
A Dusty.
Oh, no, wait.
Ooh, there we go.
Okay. Nice, Chris. Yeah, I'll go 5 Dusties on that
Absolutely.
all
All
day.
right.
Yeah. 5 Dusties for those
Because
guys.
that was a glorious mess.
Yeah.
A
A glorious mess. And
I feel like that's this pay-per-view as a whole.
yeah.
Well, most of it was just a mess.
Yeah.
It had its ups and downs.
And again,
Yes.
and I guess we're going to call this thing in the ring. I can't say that this was a good pay-per-view. The main event was something that I haven't experienced in a long, long, long time, and probably never will again. And that's credible. I'm gonna have to give this. For the most part, I think the pay-per-view sucked.
Okay.
As far as something is, would you pay for this?
No. Because ultimately it was kind of lacking. It was like
Yeah.
there was like I said, serviceable.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't enough great to elevate it. And
Yeah.
there were some really, really terrible moments.
Yeah.
And then just not as a detraction, but what the main event was is just
I'm going 1 Meltzer on this.
okay.
And that 1 Meltzer goes to the main event.
And for any listeners who don't know, Triple H was immediately taken to a hospital in Alabama when they sat down.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Oh, he had to sit through the whole plane ride back. That's at least what?
This is not a political statement in any way, shape, or form, but I don't know what the Saudi Arabian healthcare system is like, so he probably elected to say, I just got through a fucking match. I might as well just wait till I get home.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know I don't know, has he torn it before?
Oh yeah.
Okay, maybe he knew ultimately, he's like, I can wait on this until I get home.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, it's also, I was like, that's at least what, a 12-hour plane ride?
at least I would imagine. Yeah.
Because I know something like
12 to 15.
Like Australia
Yeah.
is like 16.
Mhm.
Yeah, Japan.
Yeah.
That's a 14-hour flight right there. So
Yeah.
So it's close. It's right in there.
It's gotta be. That's
Maybe upwards of 14.
So I mean, I would imagine that he got pretty doped up and passed out.
Lots of-
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Lots
I mean,
of
I don't.
complimentary alcohol.
Well, that's the thing. Back in the day, Triple H, he didn't drink at
Really?
all. I know, shocking, right?
Yeah.
Back at the height of his powers, he had never touched a drop of alcohol. I don't know if that's still the case, but
Maybe there would be a good exception.
well, yeah. I mean, getting married, having a couple of kids makes you want to drink every once in a while. So I would imagine he's had to have had at least a New Year's celebration at this point. Yeah. Overall, I got to go one Meltzer on this pay-per-view. God bless and preserve Triple H and the Heartbreak Kid and Taker. I didn't even talk about Taker
and Kane.
for just being the ring general.
He
Yeah,
really
Taker
did.
took over.
He
And there was that
really
moment
led.
where he, I forget, outside the ring after the table incident, he took out Shawn Michaels, and then he went over to, pose over Triple H at the same time so he could check on him.
Yeah, that was really, really
Talk
classy.
to him. At one point, I guess I did forget to mention this, but Kane lost his mask.
Yes.
Oh,
There
he
was
lost more than his
Shawn
mask.
was pushing him to the outside.
Well, his mask is connected to his hair now, so
Got it.
because
that one.
he's always kind of kept his hair short and just worn a wig with the mask. But it was hilarious because Shawn went to push him down and accidentally grabbed his head and just took the mask off, and and Kane. Kane, to his credit, when he hit the floor, did the right thing, and that was he covered up immediately.
yeah.
Which is weird because
Fortunately, Glenn Jacobs, the mayor of Knoxville, was there to handle business while Kane was getting his mask back on.
That was very big of him.
Yeah.
Well, they're big people.
Yeah.
Well, it was just weird because Kane. I know he's supposed to be wearing the mask all the time when he's in the ring, but he did the thing when anyone loses their mask, which is to protect their face.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Cover it up.
But it's like we've seen corporate Kane.
You have been without that mask for like 4 years.
Corporate, like you unmasked, you masked again. You were corporate Kane for a while.
Yeah.
Then you went back to the mask. We know.
Yeah.
We're not. We're not.
Not to mention when he was general manager.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
that was just funny.
it was funny.
What
it
was
was
it
a-
that Amy said? That wig was snatched.
Snatched. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's on the recording that I'm going to throw up at the beginning of this episode. I think you can hear her
Fantastic.
shouting, "Snatch that wig." Well, Doggz, Chris, Gina, do you have any more final thoughts about Crown Jewel before we wrap it on up here?
Well, we've got Survivor Series.
Correct.
Survivor Series is always a double brand pay-per-view. We know we're going to see head-to-head titles. Let's armchair book this thing.
I don't feel interested in that at all, to be honest with you.
Really?
I mean, if they wanted to do that, they could bring back something like Night of Champions again.
I would love to see that.
That's
yeah.
not what Survivor Series is for.
No, it's about an elimination match that, well, to be fair, doesn't do anybody any good, but
But
it
hell
used
with
to be fun.
I like my elimination tags.
Yeah. I used to love my elimination tag matches. Haven't seen one in years.
No. But I mean, it could be a fun card. It could be good. I just what they're hyping it with right now doesn't thrill me much.
No. I think I think Rousey versus Becky Lynch is going to be off the chain.
Yes.
That will be.
That's going to be a
something
fun
to watch.
Fun,
that is going to be
fun match.
Yeah, that currently is probably the best promoted match I see coming.
And here's an interesting one. Is AJ Styles going to allow Brock Lesnar to get away with what he's been getting away with?
To run roughshod over him?
Mm-hmm.
I think Brock's going to get told that he has to let AJ get some good hits in. Whatever happens, he's going to have to sell for AJ.
Yeah. And I really want to see a belt unification match. I don't think I'm going to get that.
I don't think you're getting
it.
They just want to make the champions go at each other.
Yeah.
Which it's weird in the sense of like, so no one deserving is getting a title match that pay-per-view.
No, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen?
Maybe tag match. I don't know.
After the delivery that we got from this one, who's to say? It's so amazing that we see such a phenomenal card in Evolution, and I mean a week later we get this garbage. What do you? I mean, what's going on? Where are we going with this?
I don't know.
I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, I guess so.
I'm hoping just that this was just because of them trying to cater to the Saudi crowd.
I hope so.
I hope that
And their sofas.
I hope that this just. I hope it's just a fluke. I hope it's just a fluke.
If I remember correctly, during the Greatest Royal Rumble, I remember thinking, boy, this whole card is set up like a house show.
It
like
really kind of was. This one too.
This one was too.
Just a big
Not
glorified house show.
Yeah, just
with
a house.
so many fireworks.
All the pyrotechnics.
Oh, yeah, we never mentioned the sheer number of fireworks that went off during this
Like,
pay-per-view.
like
mean
almost every
match?
wrestler had pyro, and then they ended every match with pyro.
Yeah.
It was.
Even Brock Lesnar got so much pyro for such.
He didn't deserve it.
He didn't deserve the
Not for what
pyro.
that
He
was.
didn't deserve the belt. He didn't deserve the paycheck that he got.
He didn't even deserve to walk down that ramp.
No.
The fuck was that? And it just
I mean, yeah.
No more.
So, yeah.
No more.
I am. Well, I say this hesitantly. We can't do much worse at Survivor Series. Yeah, thank you.
I refuse to knock. I want to see where the bottom of this barrel is.
No.
Well, that's the thing. See, that's the thing. I can deal with a stellar pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And I can also deal with just a piece of garbage with blown spots all day long.
We were talking about that earlier. It's like
Yeah.
that. Those are. It's like because you can. There's something you can make out of both of those, but when it's this middle of the road weird garbage,
that does nothing for anybody and just, it is what it is. It's worse.
it is so much worse.
Yeah. And that's where we're going to take you out. Guys, Gina, thank you so much for coming on to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. This was a blast.
I'm so glad you enjoyed yourself. I'm so glad you came to the podcast. We hope to see you at Survivor Series.
I'll be watching.
Survivor Series coming up in 2 weeks. Our guest then is going to be my son, Tyler.
Who will survive the podcast?
Yeah.
Who will be voted off the island?
Right? So, Chris, you got anything else?
No, I think that's it. I'm still trying to process the magical weirdness that was the main event. Right. It's like
Or just
because it's like I can't appreciate it for being a good match, like we said, but I can just appreciate 4 men working their asses off to just to make.
Boy, I mean, you could see him trying. I mean, it was, if it had been anything else, I would have raked that thing over the coals and you just talk trash about it the entire time.
I am in awe of what they did.
You saw the soul of wrestling in that match,
Yeah.
and that's what was beautiful. Hensley, you got anything else for us?
I got nothing. Just as a stage performer, as somebody who's been doing theater for the last 16 years, it was inspiring to me to watch Triple H keep going, to watch them essentially improv their way through that match, because I'm pretty sure that if something like that happened to me, I would have been out immediately. And especially since we just finished a show that was entirely stage combat, I'd like to think that if Robert Bradford over there sitting on the couch had stabbed me at some point, I would have gotten up and kept going on with the scene and worked around that and not been a little bitch about it.
Right.
So that's all I got.
Right on. Well, guys, if you have questions, comments, if you want to tell me how wrong I am about this pay-per-view, or how right I am about this pay-per-view, anything, if you want to ask me questions, if you want to make comments, whatever, you can hit me up on Facebook, David Two Dogs Hayes. You can hit me up on Instagram at This Is a Work Podcast. You can also hit me up on This Is a Work Podcast on Twitter. That would be at David Hayes 357. So, for David Hensley, Chris Barnes, and our special guest, Gina Belmont, this is David Two Dogs Hayes saying, folks, if you got up this morning, went to work, had someone that cares about you when you get home, guys, this match is over and you just won via pinfall. Thank you again for listening to This Is a Work. We're out.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening to This Is a Work. If you've enjoyed the show, please leave a rating and a review on whatever platform you're listening on, and also make sure you give a listen, a like, and a review to our sister show, Long Walk Talks. Have a good night.